Hello and welcome! In this lesson, we're going to break down 20 essential English words and phrases that you can start using today. We're going to go through them step by step, nice and slow, to really help build your vocabulary and your confidence. So let's get started.
So here's our roadmap for today. We'll kick things off with some foundational concepts, then get into words for describing situations. After that, we'll look at time and trouble, and finish up with actions and limits. Think of it as a full workout for your vocabulary. All right, let's dive right into our first section, foundational concepts. These are really the building blocks, the core ideas you'll use all the time.
Our first word is primary. This simply means the most important or the main thing. Just think of it as whatever comes first. It's actually related to the word primitive, which refers to an early stage of development. You'll often hear primary used with words like concern, focus, or goal. For example, our primary goal is to finish the project on time.
Next up, we have establish. This verb means to create or set something up so that it lasts. You can establish a company, or you can establish a new rule. It's closely related to the noun institution, which is, an established organization. For instance, you could say, the company was established in 1950.
I really like our next word, distinguish, because it's all about clear thinking. It means to recognize or point out the difference between two or more things. The noun form is distinction. And here's a great tip. We almost always use it with the word between. You distinguish between one thing and another. For instance, it's important to distinguish between fact and opinion. Okay, our next word is extinguish. This one's pretty straightforward. It means to put out something that's burning, like a fire or even just a candle. And the easiest way to remember this is its close relative, a fire extinguisher. It's all about stopping or ending a fire or a light. A perfect example is, the firefighters worked to extinguish the blaze.
And the last word in this first section is pedestrian. A pedestrian is simply a person who is walking, especially in a city or town. It belongs to a whole group of words about city life, right? Like crosswalk and footpath. So you might hear, the driver stopped to let the pedestrian cross the street. Great, now that we have some of those foundational words down, let's move on. Our next group of words is all about helping us describe different kinds of situations with a bit more color and detail.
Let's start with the action word bend. To bend something just means to shape it into a curve or an angle when it was straight before. It's part of a family of actions that change an object's shape, like twist or screw. A really simple example would be asking, "Can you bend this wire for me?"
Now let's look at the idea of proportion. We often use the phrase in proportion to. This means that as one thing changes, another thing changes at a related rate. This table here shows its different forms. You've got the noun proportion, the adjective proportional, and the adverb proportionally. For instance, you could say something like, the salary is proportional to the experience.
Now here's a really powerful word, berate. To berate someone means to scold them or criticize them, but with a lot of anger. It's a strong and kind of formal word for really telling someone off. The key thing to remember is the anger. For example, the manager might berate an employee for being late.
Next up is remains. This just refers to what's left over after the main part is gone or has been used. It's a lot like the word leftovers. And a little tip here, we almost always use it in its plural form, remains. For example, the remains of the meal were put in the fridge. I'm sure you've experienced an outage before. It's that period of time when a service, like electricity or the internet, just isn't available. It's part of a group of words that describe failures, like shutdown or breakdown. A classic example. We had a power outage last night due to the storm. Okay, that was a great set of words. Let's move into our next section. This one is all about time and, well, what happens when you get into a little bit of trouble.
Let's kick this section off with the phrase in sync. When things are in sync, it means they're working together perfectly at the same time and the same speed. It really suggests harmony. You probably know the verb form too, synchronize. A wonderful example is, the dancers were perfectly in sync.
Now for a really big concept, eternal. This describes something that lasts forever, something that has no end. It's very similar to endless or everlasting, and its noun form is eternity. You'll often hear it in philosophical or religious discussions, like in the phrase eternal life after death.
So, what if two things happen at the very same moment? Well, the formal word for this is simultaneously. You'll see this one a lot in writing.
But, in just everyday conversation, it's way more common to say at the same time or maybe all at once.
Let's look at suddenly. This just means that something happened quickly and you weren't expecting it. A very common, maybe less formal way to say this is all of a sudden. Both are great and people use them all the time. For example, suddenly the lights went out.
Now for a phrase we all try to avoid. Got into trouble. This means you've gotten yourself into a situation where you might get punished for something you did. You can also be in trouble or have trouble with something. A simple example. He got into trouble for breaking the window. We're on the home stretch now. Our final set of words is all about taking action and understanding limits. Let's finish strong.
Our next phrase is to be in a mess. This can mean being in a situation that's difficult, confusing, or just plain chaotic. It can describe a physical room that's messy, or it can describe a difficult life situation. For example, after he lost his job, his finances were in a mess.
The word behave is simply about how you act or how you conduct yourself. We often use it when we're talking about whether someone's actions are good or bad, especially when we're talking to children. For instance, you might say, "Please behave well when we have guests."
Okay, next is the word Satan. In some religions, this refers to the main spirit of evil. As you can see, you have related words like the adjective satanic and the noun Satanism. The direct opposite, of course, is an angel. It's a word used to represent a really powerful negative force.
Our next word is cap, and nope, not the kind you wear on your head. In this context, a cap is an upper limit that's placed on something, usually an amount of money or a number. Think of it like a ceiling or a boundary. A perfect real-world example is, the government put a cap on energy price increases.
And our final word for today is redirect. This means to change the course or the direction of something. A great synonym for it is divert. And you can use it for physical things like redirecting traffic, or for more abstract things like redirecting a conversation or a phone call. For instance, all calls will be redirected to my mobile phone. And just like that, we've covered all 20 words. Wow! We've gone from foundational concepts all the way to actions and limits. Now, let's do a quick final review just to help it all sink in.
Just take a look at this list. We covered primary, establish, distinguish, extinguish, pedestrian, bend, in proportion to, berate, remains, outage, in sync, eternal, simultaneously, suddenly, got into trouble, be in a mess, behave, Satan, cap, and redirect. You did it! That is a fantastic addition to your vocabulary.
So I'll leave you with this final thought. Knowledge is great, but it's most powerful when you actually use it. Looking at this list, which one of these new words are you going to try to use in a conversation today? Thanks so much for joining me, and keep on learning.